Hello everybody, it's me, CoffeeStitcher. Been a while. I know, right? I wanted to take a few quick moments to say hello to those who maybe don't know me or maybe have forgotten who I am. My name is Garrett. I am based out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas. And it has been, at least according to math, 2.567 years since my last video. At the time of my last video, I was in the process of studying for broker licenses. I did not complete them. I got 2 of the 3, and it was a very long process. That's okay. They were not a condition of my employment. I'm still very happy at my job. But I got out of the habit of making videos, and if I'm a smidge honest, I didn't really completely miss making them. After 8 years, that was a really long time, and I can certainly understand why people leave successful TV shows after a similar amount of time. So here we are. I am recording it as a Sunday night. I will hopefully have this uploaded by tomorrow, maybe. Fingers crossed. Subsequently, I'm drinking iced tea because it is far too late for coffee, even though I am now on ADHD meds, which have been a game changer. It's also part of why there hasn't been a video for a while. I went basically a full year without really stitching. I did other stuff, but my cross stitch fell by the wayside because I found I couldn't focus on it. So we're back now. We're on medication, but that medication doesn't play well with caffeine. So decaf iced tea it is. I still drink coffee in the morning, but yes, I see you, buddy. My little buddy Asher here, who I don't know if y'all met or not. He was around when I was still making videos, but he was generally still asleep when I was making them. This is Asher. Hello. Say hello, Asher. Yes. Do you want to go back to your pillow? Okay, you're gonna hang out here. So apparently Asher's gonna hang out here with us. He will probably lose interest very quickly, or at least he'll lay down. He's a little confused. All right. So, with all that being said, let's get into some stuff. So, for those of you who may not remember, I have a lot of whips. For those of you who do remember, I still have a lot of whips. But last year-ish, I went through a process where I decided I was going to sit down and work my way through each of my whips. I was going to do 200 stitches on them. If I found that I was not interested after 200 stitches, if I found that, for instance, I disliked a piece so much that I got up and vacuumed the living room, which did actually happen, that meant that it was one that I no longer needed to be trying to deal with. And so it went into some of the, we got rid of probably a handful of those. Then from there, I kind of broke them down based on how completed they were. So category A was anything that was less than 25%, B was 25 to 50%, and then C was anything that was 50% or greater, because there were not a lot of C's. And then I sort of picked projects from there to go into my rotation. And the rotation has basically been, I work on every whip gets 500 stitches. Well, at least 500 stitches. So I still do a rotation wheel, so I spin a wheel to pick what the next project is. I also have a stitch count wheel. So they're in increments of 500, 600, 750, and 800. So at least they're gonna get 500 in, may get as many as 800 before I rotate to the next one. The exception being, I am doing whip go. And with my whip go, those get 750 stitches a piece per whip go. So kind of how I'm still doing it. It is working pretty well. I've just, given myself the grace that if I'm not enjoying a piece, and I'm not enjoying it several times when it comes up, that it can go back into the archives. By and large, I find if I don't work on it when it spins, or I try and I just don't get very far, then usually putting it away and spinning again, by the time it comes back up on the wheel, I'm back to being interested in it. So that's kind of what I do there. Now, I also have been doing a lot of, if you've been following me on Instagram, you've seen me doing a lot of the Bucilla felt kits. Some vintage, some modern ones. I am a plaid ambassador, which sounds fancier than it is. Basically, anytime I post anything involving plaid or a current Bucilla kit, I get some points, and then I can use those points to buy more kits with. So it kind of makes things a little better. I may try to do some individual, like, one-off videos on the felt stuff, but we'll see. I don't know what my regular filming schedule is going to be. I don't know if I'm going to try and do weekly again. I don't know if I'm going to do bi-weekly. We'll sort of see, but I'm trying to give myself that grace as well of not burning myself out. So that way the reboot of CoffeeStitcher maybe sticks around longer. I have a new haircut, by the way, if y'all didn't notice. Still a little on the ADD side. All right, so that's kind of how I'm doing my rotation still. So I'm going to show you the current active projects. I also have one of the few haul segments we're actually going to have. I'm not buying as much, partially because I don't need to buy. I've really I've got plenty of fabric, I've got plenty of floss, I've got plenty of patterns. Will I still buy stuff on occasion? Yes. But I don't really need to spend a whole lot. And in terms of, like, the felt kits, I bought a whole lot over the last year, but now I'm kind of at a point of, I need to work through some of these. Unfortunately, unlike cross-stitch, where there are new patterns every day, there's only new kits every, couple months. So that kind of helps a little bit there. All right. So I think that's kind of everything here. I may bring back the Q&A. Towards the end of my videos last time, I wasn't getting a whole lot of Q&A, so I don't want to feel like I don't want people to feel obligated to ask questions. So, of course, you can definitely ask questions. I also understand that a lot of people don't watch on a computer anymore. A lot of people watch it on their TV, and that makes it a little difficult to comment. So, of course, I do enjoy the comments. I love the feedback. But that's kind of where we are. You may notice I'm in a slightly different location. I am in our living room. Because of the working remotely, I had to redo my craft office area, and it's really not conducive for filming any longer. So we're gonna try it here. We may try it in the bedroom. We may try it in the library. We may be moving around until we find our location, but for tonight at least, this was the most easily doable. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into my current whips. So we'll start with felt kit because that's what's on top. So currently I am working on this fantastic, ring light. I will try to drop, oh, that's better. Oh, that's a little better. Fantastic vintage Bucilla kit. It's from 1975. It is Dorothy and Friends, obviously, if you couldn't already guess. My mom actually made this set back when it came out, which was 11 years before my worldly debut. So this is not a set for me. I've got ideas of what I want to do with eventual other sets of these, but I'm doing one as a set to get through, so to figure out the construction. So this set is actually going to be for my friend Melissa, and I've completed Dorothy. So here she is. Couple of changes that I've made. She was supposed to be blonde, but Melissa requested brunette, so we've got brunette Dorothy here. And because of the yarn style I had, I couldn't braid her hair, so she's just got tight pigtails. I added, so I tend to, on my felt kits, I'll do white beads with the white sequins. Red sequins always get red beads. And then from there, it kind of depends. Black sequins always get black beads. A lot of the times will color match the sequin to the bead, but if I don't have one, then I use a clear one. I did use some iridescent sequins for the ruby slippers. I also sequenced the back, and I did the straps and the blouse on the back. And then I actually used a rose pink for the skirt for the dress, just because I wanted it to be a little more obvious. So there's Dorothy, and I'm currently working on the Scarecrow, which I don't have a whole lot of the Scarecrow to show you, because basically all I got done was I got his pants, I got the patches added and their sequins, and his shirt has part of its sequins. I ran out of sequins where I was, and then I was tired, so I quit. Boop. So these are really great, I've learned, for doing on virtual stitchers, because I still do go on virtual stitchers on Fridays and Saturdays, because I don't have to worry about the pattern, I don't have to worry about counting, I can just talk and sew. I tend to alternate between stockings and ornaments. Stockings tend to be more if someone wants a stocking, then I make a stocking, because God knows I don't need a trillion stockings. So that is Dorothy and Friends. All right, now then, in my old videos, I used to take the Clint Eastwood approach of just point, shoot, whatever happened, happened. I'm gonna try to be better about that. So I am going to work on trying to edit in like pictures of the completed design for a project, where it's available. Sometimes it's not, but where it's available, we're gonna try. So we'll see how well I do with that. All right, so the first one that I'm gonna bring up is this year's Clouds Factory Stitch Along. It's called Stitcher's Book Club, and it is a series of bookshelves with famous authors and parts of their creations. I am using the called for. I am adding in some metallic because it's me. But here is where I'm at on it so far. Now, Stitch Alongs I tried really hard to keep up with them as they were coming out. But I'm not doing that any longer. I'm giving myself the grace to just work on them as is, because a lot of the times it ends up being a lot more than I can stitch in one sitting, and I get frustrated and burned out on it. So, I've completed Tolkien, who's there in the middle, and we're working on Mary Shelley, her and Frankenstein. So, there you have it. The big changes I made were, like I said, I added some metallics. So the One Ring is metallic, Sauron's Eye is metallic. I think that's Sauron. I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan, y'all. And then the River Water is a metallic. So there we go. So Stitcher's Book Club from Clouds Factory. Almost done with January. And here it is, May. And it's in, for those of you who like project bags, it's in a Peanuts bag that I got from Stitch and Button. Most of my project bags are from Stitch and Button. All right, next up is Adventure Awaits by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. This is one that I really love the overall look of, and it is not one that I stitch very easily. Like, I find it a little tedious to stitch. So it's my exception to the always gets 500. When it comes out to play, I do 200 stitches on it, and then I move on to something else. 200 stitches is generally one weekend or one weeknight, or Sunday morning. So here's where we are. I did finally finish the Eastern Hemisphere. We're working on the Western Hemisphere. This is on Mummy Wraps from Ship's Manor. Pull that up a little higher for you. So, I am not doing, you'll notice in the template, I'm pointing it here. I'm hoping I'm gonna end up remembering to put it there, but it may actually be over here. We'll see. I'm not doing the little corner brackets, just because I didn't want to do them. But I'm really enjoying this one. So, like I said, I do work on it in 200 stitch increments. And sometimes there are projects where that's just what you have to do. And 200 stitches is 200 more than I had in it before. And this one's in a project bag that was a gift from the Crafter Emporium. I'm not actually sure they're still around, but it's a nice cityscape. All right. This one, some of y'all will maybe remember because it's been around for a while. It is the Under the Sea Sal from Frosted Pumpkin. It's in a nice, oh, sorry, Asher. It's in a nice chicken bag that my friend Robert of Robert's Palace of Stitches made for me. This one is on, I think, Mini Waters from Ship's Manor. This was actually one of my WIPGOs for this month, so it got 750, which took care of most of the upper border. So here's where I am on it. Working on it slowly but surely. I'm still very proud of that mermaid and her hair. So, yeah. We're a little over the halfway point. I think it's 10 official parts, and the border is part 6. So, the next time it comes out, part 6 will be finished. Right. This one is one that I started back in Darktober of 2019 when we were in the shitty apartment. It is Ginny Bean's Halloween by Shakespeare's Peddler. And it's on Desert Sands, which is a no longer available fabric. I want to say by Witchelt. Got a slip in here that tells me. Yes. So it's one they no longer make, because it was back when they used to do the hand-dyed even weaves, and I miss those because they were some great colors. I am kind of doing I'm doing hashtag uncalled for colors. So here's where I'm at on it. It is close to a finish. If not the next time this one brings out, then the time after that, it'll be finished. But I've kind of gone on my own. So I'm using, in a lot of ways, I am using the called for colors, which are mostly Gentle Arts. But I have tweaked it some. I've added some purple because I feel like Halloween needs purple. I did the pumpkins in a Color and Cotton orange. The border itself is actually in one of those colorists. It's the ones from DMC that are like variegated with multicolors. So I'm actually using one of those. I want to say it's Heather. It is 4522, whatever name that one is. So getting close to a finish. Yay. Partially because it took me forever to figure out what I wanted to do with the border. And it also took me forever to stitch that house there in the middle. And this one is in one, it's puppy bears, which is from one I bought from a lady in our local chapter of the EGA. Her name is Deb. She makes bags, sells them locally. I don't know if she sells them online or not, but I know she sells them locally. This next one is one that was a New Year, New Start. It is a Jan Hicks called Meditation Garden. I have not gotten very far on it. I think this is the right way up. I'm not really sure. This is how far I am on it. It's one that recently came back out of the archives. It was a new moon, new start. So I'm not terribly far in it at all, as you can tell. So, and this one I'm pretty sure is a Fortnite fabric. Yeah, it's a fortnight. But was it one that was a one-off, or is it named? It's Bianchetto. So it's from when they did the mushrooms for their neutral. I really miss Fortnite fabric, y'all. Right. This was another dead bag. It's a garden. Appropriate, no? All right. This one is from in a So Much to Love Wizard of Oz bag. This was my birthday start this year, and it is called Wizard of Oz Sampler by So Needle Juice. And this is all I've got done so far, because I only worked on it on my birthday. So just no place like home. So, and this is on one of those printed Adas from Witchelt. Actually, I think I say Witchelt, it's Charles Craft, whoever it is that owns Charles Craft. But I got it at Michael's, and it's actually really kind of nice to stitch on. I did a Emerald City bookmark on it, on the other part of the piece of fabric, so. All right. Then we have my good old stitching book club from Sapphire Mountain, working on Jane Eyre. So I'm over halfway, but I don't think I'm quite 2/3 of the way through. But I'm definitely over halfway. And it's one that actually, as I work on it, I listen to the audiobook for Jane Eyre, because I've discovered I can do audiobooks real easily and stitch. This one is also on a Fortnite fabric. It's on Burgundy Truffle. So, and it's in a project bag, also by Stitch and Button, that she designed specifically for me for this one. And by design, I mean I told her I needed a library-themed bag for my book club projects. All right, this one was another custom bag that was made by a friend of mine. It's a Little Mermaid themed. Sorry, Asher. I can just keep bopping you on the head. I'm sorry, buddy. This is the one I use for my Brooks Books princess dresses. For those who don't know, Brooke Nolan did pass back in December after a very long battle with cancer. The family is working on trying to bring the designs back in print, but they've got other needs that needed attending to first. I have completed multiple other dresses already, so I'm technically now on my 7th of the princess dresses, and I am working on Anna from Frozen. This is on a one-off from Fortnite Fabrics, so here's where I'm at on it. Nice and purple. The fabric's a little more yellow in person, a little bit more of a yellow-green. Let me see if... Is that... That's a little more accurate color for the fabric. I discovered that on these dresses, that using, this is probably, I'm gonna show this real quick. I discovered that using colored pins for each symbol helps counting and making the mark off easier. I learned that doing Aurora, and I've carried that over since. And I have these great pins that I got at Daiso, or Daiso, D-A-I-S-O. It's like a Dollar Tree, but it's all from stuff from Japan. And they have fantastic gel pins that were like $2 for a package. I've got like 3 different types of colors, and they're fantastic, and I love them, and they're great. So, highly recommend if you find marking off physical patterns useful, like I do. Highly recommend it. It does seem, on average, the princess dresses take between 4 and 8 months if I'm working on them pretty consistently. So, all right, we're down to our last two. Then we've got Flossie Fox Shop's Farming Magic Sal, which I love her designs. She does a great job, just in general. This is on a Fortnite Fabrics. I don't know what the name of it is. It was one of their opalescent Fabric of the Months from when they were doing the sort of money-themed ones, but I lost the slip with it. It's in an Alice in Wonderland bag that I don't remember who came from. Sorry. I am on part 6, so we're getting close to a finish on that one. Here's where I'm at, and I really, really love her designs. They're a whole lot of that sort of 16-bit, 8-bit sort of nostalgic vibe that I really love. The colors are always really bright. They work. She does interesting things with color, so I am really enjoying it. I'm expecting it'll be finished this year, but they're very, very, very dense stitches, so well worth it. But they are kind of dense. So right, and then last but not least is a vintage kit that I'm working on. It's by Elsa Williams. It's called what is it called? It's called like My Home is My Castle. My Castle is My Home. What is this? My Home, My Castle. And it's from the mid-90s. So, post a picture up there. I've got the center done, and now I am working on... Well, I've got the center done minus all of the backstitch. I've done some of it. But now I'm working on the side pieces. So... And it is very 90s in that everything is backstitch outlined, which at a distance really looks great. It looks a little awful close up because it's like, oh, hello, 90s. But at a distance, it works. So. All right. And it is in a bag from Garon Totten Bags that is called Christmas in New York. So, and it was so chosen because it was big enough to hold the kit. I just realized that fabric was upside down. That's a little better. So, right. So, that brings us to the end of my current whips. I am going to go ahead and show off the haul that I currently have, because I don't, like I said, this is not going to be a common feature. I'm not really buying as much, but this one had special reason. Those who are longtime viewers know that I have a local needlework shop called The Stitch Niche. It's been around for 55 years, and they announced that they were trying to find a new owner for the shop. Kim and Debbie were ready to retire. They were not able to, so they had a closing sale. Yesterday was the last day of it. So very bittersweet. This is all basically a result of that. They did, the Saturday before the closing sale, their last regular day, they did offer a early sale to local EGA members. So I went by real quickly because I wanted some fabric for Sleepy Hollow. This was one of the very first, if not the first pattern I ever bought at Stitch Niche. It's by the Cricket, or Cross-Eyed Cricket Collection, call it what you will. And so I did get a piece. It's from Shakespeare's Peddler. It's called Berry Smoothie. It's a little more purple than I think it's probably going to show up on camera. But I liked it a lot. So it is a 32 count. And yeah, that is that. So I wanted my last purposely bought piece of fabric to be from Stitch Niche, and I thought it was nice to sort of bookmark first pattern, last planned fabric purchase. Now, that being said, of course, I did buy other fabric during the sale itself. So, first I'll show you the fibers I bought. So, as y'all will know, I do enjoy my fuzzy stuff, so I got green and orange because they had that. And then I got some treasure braid. I may or may not actually have most of these colors, but they were on sale, so why not? So, some treasure braids. Treasure braid is actually really great, not only just for cross stitch, but it's really good in those felt projects. All right. Then I got, these were once upon a time all neatly organized. I got some Gentle Arts. I have a full set pretty much, but some of them were either colors that I use a lot of, or now that Gentle Arts is finally standardizing their dye lots, were ones that were different enough from ones I already had. So I got a Clover, a Wisteria, a Liberty, because I do use Liberty a lot. Old purple paint that's actually purple and not brown with a little purple running through it. And dragon fruit. And then I picked up some classic Colorworks. Now, oh, and then I also got one random limited edition Gentle Arts that they had. I tried to be very careful. If they had more than one color of something, I didn't clean them out of it. With one exception, but you'll see why here in a moment. So I got Cottage Garden. That one's not showing up terribly well. Do I have something just solid white I can put against the back? Maybe not. No, you can sort of see it that way. So it's sort of a pink and green. And then Magnolia Blossom, which is sort of a white yellow. Fleur de Lilac. Tyler Boy Blue. Smoke. Nighty Night. But the one that I did decide to clean them out of, because they only had 2 left and it seemed apropos, was Ruby Slippers. So then I picked up some fabrics. So these are basically all, except for one, Atomic Ranch fabrics, which I've never used before. This is a 28 Lugana called Into the Woods. Into the woods, doo-doo, into the woods, doo-doo. Which if it's the right size, I've been toying with doing the Rosewood Manor and a Forest Grew and changing the center to be lyrics from Into the Woods. So that might be what I do that on. This one is called Nutmeg. It's a 16 count Aida. I'm actually kind of thinking about maybe doing, now that Primitive Needle is back, doing Witch's Hollow on this one. But there it is. That was a potential option for this one. It was a good, like, rusticy brown. So I will find some use for it, I'm sure. This one is Pampas Road, which is the other one that I think I might do. It's an 18 count, so this was the other one I thought I might do Witch's Hollow on, because it's a big one. And it's going to be one that, when I eventually do it, it's going to be we're going to just pull crap out of my stash versus follow the colors as called for. And then one Silk Weaver. This one is a 14 count Aida called Brandywine. Nice purpley color. So. And then I picked up some patterns. So we've got several of the 2024 Fragments in Time from Summer House. I'm not sure exactly which ones I've got. I may have accidentally rebought some, but we'll see. But there's 3 of them. I got 2 of the Halloween ones for this year. I don't think the 3rd one's out yet, but we've got The House and the Grave. Picked up 2 of the Heart and Hand Tiny Towns, because I have most of the others. There is Anytown Tiny Town. And Nativity Tiny Town, which I guess technically is O Little Town of Bethlehem. There's also a Thanksgiving one, which I don't have. Oh, I didn't realize this. Apparently, a percentage of Tiny Town profits are donated to Habitat for Humanity. All right, I'm game. I'll donate to Habitat. All right. This one was it was originally sold as a kit, and then they just instead decided to sell it as the fabric and the pattern only. It is from Jan Hicks Creates. It is a very happy birthday, 55 years at the Stitch Niche. So, considering I have all of the ornaments, none of which I've stitched, I needed to have that for reasons. Then I got the Cottage Gardens Haunted House. It's part of their house series from last year. I think it was last year. 2 years ago. Oh, God, that was 2 years ago. Tiny Modernists Autumn Traditions sampler, which I believe now all 4 seasons are available. This one was the first one. Ballywick from Rosewood Manor. My Blue Heaven from Summer House Stitchwork. And finally, the Cricket Collections Autumn. All right. So there we have it. That's my haul from the last time I'll ever get to shop at the Stitch Niche, which was weird and sad, but I certainly wish Kim and company, Kim and Debbie and Steve, I wish them all the best and that I hope they enjoy their retirement. There is a new shop that is supposed to be opening later this month. I will probably visit it after EGA in June. But yeah, so that is my haul. And that kind of brings us to the end of the video. I've got plans for things to include in future videos, some recent finishes. If y'all want like a whip parade, I think those are still somewhat popular. So show you what the whips in my archives are. If you want to see a tour of what felt kits I own, I am happy to do that as well. Because I've got a wide variety of them. But yeah, that's kind of it. Like I said, I don't know how consistent I'm going to be. My goal is at least once a month. Realistically, probably more than once a month. But I'm kind of looking more towards like every other week versus trying to do it weekly. For those of you who have reached out in the past and mentioned that that y'all have been thinking about me, that is appreciated. Please don't feel like it isn't. But yeah. I guess that's kind of it for now for me. We'll see how well I do at this editing thing. Because as we all remember from the brief run of Stitch Mania, the talk show, I have the editing skills of a drunk 3-year-old. So, anyhow, thank you to those of you who watched. Please, of course, if you aren't subscribed, if you enjoyed this one, there's 8 years of me to watch. You're more than welcome to go back and watch the entire back catalog. Do not at all feel obligated to. God knows I I mean, it was hard enough for me to get through 12 seasons of Murder, She Wrote, and I absolutely love that show. I can't imagine anyone trying to get through 8 years of Me. But please do like, subscribe. If you've got questions, if you've got comments, please feel free to leave them below. Definitely appreciated. And I guess we will see you next time. Say goodbye, Asher. He was asleep. He's not happy with me now. Yes, I know, buddy. All right. I will see y'all next time. Bye. Oh, I have a clicker thing now, so I don't have to hit the button. Stop. Maybe?